Hello and welcome back to another video. Normally we're out walking or outside doing something, but this is kind of a bit more of a intimate and personal conversation, and it's not really just about me this time, but it's about something I'd like to share, and that is kind of my understanding of food. Now you might think, well, food's subjective. Anybody can eat whatever food they like. And yeah, you're right. Anybody can eat whatever the hell they like. But I just wanted to give you food for thought. I wanted to shed some light on some of the different aspects of something as benign as food that we don't really realize or acknowledge or notice a lot of the time. Now, I've got some notes in front of me because this is a massive subject, really. And I don't want to bore you. I really don't want to bore you. So I'll make it as short and as quick as possible. Alright, so food has a massive impact on how you feel. You already know this. How you behave. And how you're distracted. And how when you're distracted, you're not able to fully focus or concentrate on the things that are important in your life. Now, another day I'll talk about football and the Olympics and every other sport that's in cricket and sport that's devised to keep you busy and entertained and not think about all the stuff the government's doing to try and manipulate you more. Now, alright, this is not a conspiracy. I'm not saying the government are just out there to try and manipulate you and take away all your freedoms and all your rights as a sentinel human being. Alright, it's not conspiracy. I'm not talking about that. But what I am talking about is you and me taking responsibility for our own lives. Now, that is what an adult does. That is what an awakened, mature, grown-up adult does. Takes responsibility for your own life and your own decisions. Now, you think you're fully in control of whatever you do in your life and fully in control of whatever you put in your mouth. Now, I'm here to tell you that's not strictly true. There is a lot of things at play here that doesn't give you the truth, the full truth. So what do I mean by this? What do I mean? So for example, let's talk about what our body craves. Our body craves three main things, all right? And that's sugar, fat, and salt. That's because our body is quite old genetically, and for starvation purposes, our body would hold on to food. You know, we get that spare tire to keep us going through drought and famine, things like that. And so our brain, our what do you call it? Our old brain, our reptilian brain, is programmed to like certain things like fat, salts, and sugar. Now, unfortunately, marketing and chemical industries have caught on to this. Because as you know, corporations and chemical industries, all they care about is money, all right? And if you remember going back to the times of tobacco and cigarettes, the government was saying, oh, you know, in the 70s, no, cigarettes are okay, cigarettes are fine. You know, we've got lots of studies, medical studies to prove cigarettes are okay, cigarettes are fine. Well, we all know that's debunked now. That's a load of bull. And it was propaganded and pushed by the people that were making money out of it. So whenever you got a concern, you follow the money. Now, in this case, keeping humans and us civilians overweight, distracted, and ill by pumping us full of crap, then there's money involved. And that's what they want. So the government are happy to take the money from these corporations, such as, like, I don't know, Johnson & Johnson, Lever, other pharmaceutical companies, that say, oh yeah, sugar's bad. You want aspartame, or you want this, or you want that. You want low sugar, low fat, low. So they're trying to trick you into thinking you're eating healthy. one, you believe the government because the government say it's a nanny state and they got our best interest at heart when they haven't. They've got the corporations that are paying them money, so they can pay for their third house. But that's another story. I don't want to go off on a rant about that. But the corporations and the pharmaceutical companies, they're all in it together to make money out of you and to take away your liberties. I'll get onto that in a minute. But you're looking at, like, for example, they always say if a product doesn't need an advert, then it's okay. So, for example, Whole Foods. You don't see many adverts for apples, all right? Because apples are kind of healthy. You can eat hundreds of apples and not get sick, really. Apples are native to our country. So apples don't need an advert. We all know instinctively that apple's good, right? It's natural fruit. But all these other products that you buy in the supermarket, you just look at the supermarket now, it's like 1/5 of fruit and veg, and the other 4/5 are all full of products that are produced. I mean, don't get me started on like Lucky Charms cereal for children, or margarine that's got more plastic and oil in it than anything else. All right, but I'm not going on a rant. I just want you to know that corporate industries don't care about you. They care about their shareholders. They are legally supposed to put their shareholders first. All right, so the shareholders, the company doesn't care about you. Corporate government doesn't really care about you because they're getting a third house in a swimming pool because of the corporations are paying for them to be in power and to change this law and lobbying. Just look at American gun law and the Rifle Association in America. Anyway, GPs. Did you know that until recently, GPs, general practitioners, had no training on nutrition whatsoever? So all they care about, the GP, is getting down the targets. It's all about economics. If you want to look at economics, look at S. Dunbar in Freakonomics. So GPs have got targets they need to hit. And the targets are to cut down waiting lists, to also push medication from pharmaceutical companies. There's drugs that are being pumped into us. So instead of saying to somebody, all right, okay, so what are you eating at the moment? Well, where are you working? What are the environmental factors that could be making you ill or unwell? Instead of investigating like that and say, oh, what, you're drinking, 3 bottles of wine a week and you're dehydrated and tired all the time. Oh, right, okay, well, you're probably stressed. I'll give you some medication. I'll write you a script. Here you go, you're stressed. Take this medication. So it's about giving a script is much quicker and easier than it is to look at the nutrition, what somebody's consuming. Oh, you're having 4 coffees a day, 3 bottles of wine, you've got 7 screaming kids and a husband and a dog, and, instead of working on the human aspect, the GPs care about their targets and writing us a prescription. Also, again, pushed by the pharmaceutical companies. And then if you want to take that a step further, you got the parents. Parents are busy people. They've got the wives and mothers now are having to work, whereas they didn't back in the 50s and 60s. So the parents are under stress to get it done quickly. Right, well, I've got to go to work. I've got to get back. Got to feed the kids. Got to do this. Got to do that. So parents are under stress and pressure to get food quickly on the table. There's not many parents now that are going to cook a meal from scratch, make a pie, make raspberry trifle, or make anything from scratch because they don't have the time and they need to unwind because they're run off their feet. So, and parents' education, they think the government and what the school is telling you is the right thing. But the parents, and I'm a parent, I've been one of these people as well, are just looking at, I don't know, dinosaurs and, chicken dinosaurs and nuggets and beans and whatever else and a quick pie, chuck it on the table, microwave it or oven for 30 minutes, job done. And people are not able to cook from scratch. And that's pressure put on the parents, as well as pressure put on the children from all the marketing. marketing now is a whole big thing about like the psychology aiming at the children. Oh yeah. I mean, why do so many teenagers like to go out and get a McDonald's? It's cheap. You're not going to get sick from it. And it's shown in your face everywhere. Everywhere. McDonald's, Coca-Cola. All these things aren't good for you. But marketing's very, very clever. They employ a lot of tactics from psychologists that get into our brain. And it's around us all the time. So, we're not to blame for that. You can't help it if you're bombarded with it. All right. Obesity. You look at obesity in children. You think, oh my God, that's so wrong. Why is this 6-year-old so overweight? And then you look at Benidorm and you go, oh my God. Look at the people in Benidorm, the British people in Benidorm. Instead of taking a leaf out of the Spanish people's books, and having like olive oil and natural things and tomatoes and stuff that's local and natural, they're just becoming obese with cheap alcohol and sunshine. Have you ever seen you've seen the TV show Benidorm? Oh my God, it's like that. There is double electric scooters for 2 fat people, man and wife. And there's lots of them going around Benidorm. It's real. I've been there. I've seen it. All right, look at NHS, bariatric. Bariatric care is becoming more and more prominent. Work, health and safety. In the day, you'd have to do a bit of health and safety training, sort of in the 90s to 2000. You'd have to bend down and pick up a box. You'd have to do it properly by bending at the knees and the hips, keeping your back straight, bending down, pick up. Now, I know so many staff that can't even bend down to pick up the box because they're so big. And a lot of people can't do their job because they're big, or they can't be doing their job properly because they're so big. Bigger, heavier chairs. More and more people with back problems. Don't get me started on the NHS, and like if people need CPR, we're having to do more medical training to be able to look after our colleagues that are overweight. Oh, it goes on and on. You just look at driver's medical. I'm a driver, and every 5 years, I have to do a medical to prove that I'm drinking enough, I'm within the right parameters of my health, and they go on about drinking water. But if you've got to drive for 9 hours and you've only got a short 45-minute break to take a pee, how are you supposed to hydrate properly throughout that? It's wrong. They're just putting all the emphasis and pressure and responsibility back on the driver. So there's another situation. Right, so I don't want to get into a rant. This is just about how to educate ourselves and to take responsibility for ourselves. All right, there's quick, easy, convenience food. We're all tired. Let's get a takeaway on a Friday night. And then we go out for food on a Saturday lunchtime to treat ourselves because we're tired and fed up and depressed. But there's a lot of cheese and lots of other addictive chemicals in these takeouts. Like I said earlier, there's salt, fat, and sugar. The number one worst thing? Donuts, because they hit all 3 of the marks: fat, sugar, and salt. Perfect. Anyway, marketing and cheese and pizzas and takeaways. Just for example, why pizzas are so popular, because of the amount of cheese. Now, cheese has casein in it. Casein is a derivative of the milk and the whey, and that's designed on purpose to make the infant come back to the mother, to be addicted, to come back to the mother for the milk, to make the child strong, basically the cow. And have a little think about this just for a moment. There's not a single creature, mammal, in the animal kingdom that takes milk from another species. You don't see a giraffe going up to a gorilla and saying, "Can I have some of your milk?" But if we were to take milk from another species, surely you would go to a similar species, like a monkey, where it's 99% similar. You wouldn't go to something like a cow, a bovine, which has got like 4 stomachs and eats grass all day long and walks around a field. I mean, why would you have milk from that creature instead of a monkey? Beats me. Anyway, right. Like I said, this is not a rant. This is about education. All right, I got two more things I want to say. One is ego, our ego. Many foods are now gentrified. And oh look, I'm a wine snob, I'm a coffee snob, oh I only eat the best Waitrose food. It's not your food, it's our M&S food. M&S food is the best food, packaged and produced and collected from around the world for you. It's your M&S food. Well, hang on a minute, what did we say earlier? Let's follow the money. Where's the money going to? Oh, M&S shareholders. Right, okay. So Waitrose, M&S, all this food snobbery, food from around the world, it's not really sustainable, is it? Bringing avocados in from Mexico. You think of the carbon footprint of some. So we're not eating foods that are local to us, but they are in Spain. And we're not eating foods that are in season. You remember back when our grandparents would say, eat seasonal fruits and veggies? Well, there's a reason for that. That's what we are born with in our DNA. Our local cuisine, we would eat seasonally. And so you don't have to get berries from Mexico or wherever else and pay through the roof. All right, portobello mushrooms. I got that written down. Oh, even a mushroom is posh now. So everything is gentrified. It's about our ego. Oh, I have the posh food, so I'm better than you. Oh God! All right. The last point I was going to make, because like I said, this is not me rabbiting on about being on my soapbox. This is trying to educate. All right, and this is stuff I've learned as well for me, and I want to share it with you because you're important to me, and your well-being and your future is important, not just to me but to you. So the last thing I was going to touch upon is trauma. Now, trauma. If not self-regulated, we are a victim to our own impulses of satisfaction. So we're not having delayed gratification now. Like if you put money into your pocket money into the little pig, you put your pocket money in there for 6 months, and then you're able to buy something amazing. That delayed gratification isn't a thing anymore. People struggle to understand and see the real value of delayed gratification. In the likes of Pornhub and, having it now, and everything seems to be so instant. You shouldn't have to wait for it. But the more you get those dopamine hits, the more shallow they are, the more anxiety and issues and problems you end up with in your head. Because not only do you not understand the value of it, but you're conditioned to take it now. I want it now, I want it now, I want it now. And that's the same with social media, and that dopamine click, getting the likes, getting the love. Oh, I put on a picture of me. Oh, I'm feeling so low, so depressed. Oh, poor me, poor me. You get floods and floods of attention. Oh, I hope you're well. I hope you're well. I'm thinking of you. Or a woman undoing several buttons of her top. Wow. Oh, where's all the good men? With all her makeup on and her boobs half hanging out. It's delayed gratification. Any right man in their right mind would just say, so that's a red flag. She's got issues, isn't she? Having to get attention by undoing her buttons on her blouse. That just, to me, just looks like she's got very low self-esteem and she's got, issues. She hasn't got a lot of personality or there's something missing because she's having to go for instant gratification. Right. When we suffer a traumatic experience, we often find ways to gain control over our lives. One easy way is to find food by reducing it or defining or out of defiance, or other ways of taking control or overeating certain types of food. Think about a toddler and vegetables. All right, they're trying to gain control. I've got notes. I had loads and loads of great stuff written down, and I'm trying to minimize it so I can get it across to you as quick as possible without going on and on. Often eating as much as possible because of the withdrawal from it, or we believe that a certain food makes us feel really good, again with that dopamine hit, eating lots of chocolate, which is basically cocoa and sugar and fat. It's really hard to get rid of. It's really hard to get the same satisfaction from natural foods But if we did eat bananas and dates, we'd still get a natural high with the sugars. And the whole point of a natural sugar from fruit is that the peaks and troughs of the sugar and the the insulin levels within your body are much gentler. So you come back up from a peak and a trough much easier and nicer than if you have a sugar buzz at 3 o'clock in the afternoon by eating a chocolate bar, and then by 4 o'clock you're feeling really, really crappy and dehydrated and wondering your life choices again. What else did I write? Withdrawal food. Real self-love is eating whole fresh foods, unadulterated, with little to no adaptions. Take, for example, when you're feeling ill, you think, oh, I just want some soup. Because your brain's thinking about eating whole foods and natural foods and good foods. So soup, or even just beans on toast, or even a roast dinner, real vegetables, getting some good vegetables in you. And we take the time to do that, and the family come together, So like that family time and good vegetables in our system is a real positive bonus. Even something simple like beans on toast. Look at the people in Asia. People in Asia are pretty slim on the whole because they don't get caught into this dopamine trap of sugars. And what sugars they do eat is either cane sugar, which is natural, from the sugar cane, or other fruits that are sweet and natural. Again, seasonal, local. Right, like I said, this is not a rant. I'm not going on and on at you, so I'm going to cut it off now and just say, please educate yourself. If you feel good and mentally you're doing good with the foods you're eating and controlling your metabolism and controlling your diet and your health, then you're going to be a much stronger and better person. And it helps to build good willpower. Having good willpower and losing weight and looking after yourself also then gives you evidence for the future when there's hard times, all right? So that is setting a precedent. That is setting a track record of evidence that you are in control of your body. You are a responsible adult, and you are the most important person in your life. You can forget the corporations, you can forget the government, you can forget the GPs, you can forget all that propaganda and all that crap. And it's just about you taking control of your life, because you are the important one. And when you're sick and ill and dying because you're overweight and obese, somebody's going to say to you, well, you're over 18, you're an adult, you can make your own choices. Nobody pointed a gun at your head and made you eat all those McDonald's, all those Coca-Colas. You're an adult, you made your own choice. So it is down to you. Taking responsibility. All right, I'm sharing this with you guys because it's what I've learned, and it's how I'm moving forward. And if you think about it, it is the right thing to do, to take control of your diet and what you put in your mouth. And there's a whole nother conversation about what you consume mentally. All right, but that's it for today. I love you guys. Take care of yourselves and be strong. If you have any issues or concerns or worries, message me in the comments below and we can have a conversation. All right, take care. I love you. Bye-bye. See you next time. Ah, you're still here. Oh, you must really like me if you're still here. All right, okay. Well, I've got a question for you. I want to try and make these videos a little bit more fun, a little bit more relaxed and happy. So I'm going to go ahead and try and learn about that. And if you've got any good jokes or any way to inject humor into some of these videos to make it a bit more entertaining, then let me know in the comments below. There's a cow in the background. I do like being out here in the countryside. Sometimes there's cows going by, or sheep, or pigeons, or something banging on my vehicle. Makes me smile and laugh on the inside, but it's not sharing it with you guys here on the video. So that is something I want to learn and move forward in the future. And if there's any topics that you're really interested in, that you want to know about, and then maybe you want me to investigate or tell you my experience, or even stuff that you've experienced that would help our viewers, to help the community, then let me know in the comments. I want us to grow together as a community and share lots of things to help everybody. So yeah, that's where I am now. Again, I'm having a great week. There's more cows in the background. I'm having a great week. I got a few days off coming up, so I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, that's it really. Everything's going really well. I can't think of anything else to say. But this is behind the scenes. I'm in the countryside in the middle of nowhere. As you can see, there's just fields behind me. And it's really nice. Sun's come out, finally. All right. I got nothing else to say, so I'm going to shut up. All right. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.